Hi students, let us discuss now 31st question. A straight wire of length 50 centimeter carrying a current of 2.5 ampere is suspended in mid-air by a uniform magnetic field of 0.5 Tesla. As shown in figure, the mass of the wire is. As he is telling that a straight current carrying conductor is suspended in a mid-air by the uniform magnetic field. It means what? The magnetic force which is acting on the wire must be balanced with the weight of this wire. Balancing condition, that is magnetic force on conductor should be equals to weight of the wire or the conductor, we can say. Therefore, we know that magnetic force on a conductor is nothing but we know that F is equals to BIL sin theta. So BIL sin theta, we know this very well. Force acting on a conductor, which is equals to the weight of the wire, let us say that is mg. M is the mass and g is the gravity. So here, since this is theta will be here 90 degree. Why? Because he is telling that here in a diagram he is telling magnetic field and current, these two are perpendicular. See, current is moving in this direction and magnetic field is in inward direction. These two are perpendicular to each other. So we can take here theta as 90 degree. Therefore, if you substitute here sin 90, it will become 1. Therefore, BIL is equals to mg. Therefore, m is equals to BIL by g. B means what here given? 0.5 Tesla. Into current is given how much? 2.5 ampere. And length L is given how much? 50 centimeter. That is 50 into 10 power of minus 2 meter by this G. He told to take this as a G as a 10. So we will take 10. So after solving this, we will get this answer is 62.5 into 10 power of minus 3 kg you will get. That means 62.5. This entire thing will become gram. So mass will be this much. So hence first option is correct option. Now question number 32. Which of the following properties is false for a bar magnet? Its poles cannot be separated. It's correct only. Its points in north-south direction when suspended. This is also correct only. Its like pole repels and unlike pole attract. This is also correct. It does not produce magnetic field. No, it will produce a magnetic field. That means this statement is wrong. So hence he is asking false. So this is correct option. Now question number 33. A magnetic dipole of dipole moment 6 into 10 power of minus 2 ampere meter square and moment of inertia 12 into 10 power of minus 6 kg meter square performs oscillation in a magnetic field of 2 into 10 power of minus 2 Tesla. The time taken by the dipole to complete 20 oscillations is. So here asking find the time period of a dipole for 20 oscillations he is asking. General formula, expression for time period, T is equals to 2 pi root of I by mb. I is nothing but moment of inertia of a bar magnet, m is nothing but dipole moment of a bar magnet, b is nothing but it is the magnetic field in which bar magnet is oscillating. So from this we can write 2 into pi value he told to take 3. He told to take as 3. So I will take here 3. root of I value 12 into 10 power of minus 6 divided by m 6 into 10 power of minus 2 b 2 into 10 power of minus 2. So therefore here 6 into root of 10 power of minus 2. So these two will get cancelled, therefore finally we will get 0.6 we are getting. So time period is given as 0.6 second. This is for what? Time period means what? For one oscillation, but he is asking for 20 oscillation. For one oscillation is this much. Therefore for 20 oscillations, we have to multiply this 20 with this. Therefore 20 into 0.6. Therefore the answer is 12 seconds. So this is the time taken by the magnetic dipole for 20 oscillations. So therefore C option is correct. Now question number 34. The susceptibility of a ferromagnetic substance is. Here the susceptibility of a ferromagnetic substance is very much greater than that of 1, because it is strongly attracted in an external magnetic field. Hence we can say it is greater. Now question number 35. A bar magnet is allowed to fall vertically through a copper coil placed in a horizontal plane. The magnet falls with a net acceleration. When a magnet is allowed to fall vertically along an axis of a coil such that it is facing a north pole towards the coil, then according to Lenz's law, we know that upper face of a coil will become north pole in such a way that this north pole will oppose the cause produces. That means this north, it will produces a north pole. This north pole will oppose this pole. Hence, because of which the acceleration will be decreasing. That means now the bar magnet will move with an acceleration less than that of the G. Therefore, question number 36. The working of magnetic braking of trains is based on. It is based on eddy current. Now question number 37. A jet plane of wingspan 20 meter is traveling towards west at a speed of 400 meter per second. If the earth total magnetic field is 4 into 10 power of minus 4 Tesla and the dip angle is 30 degree at that place, the voltage difference developed across the ends of a wing is. Let us consider this is the east-west direction. Say this as a north-south direction. According to the problem, he is telling that a jet is moving along a west direction. Say this is the jet which is moving in a west direction. It is having a wings, and he told that the length of the wing is given as how much? 20 meter. That is L is equals to 20 meter given. Now, as we know that the magnetic field around the earth will be in a circular. That means the magnetic field will be like this. So at this point the magnetic field will be in this direction. It will be in a tangential direction, that is B. This B will be split up into two components, that is one is in this direction and one will be in downward direction. This is called horizontal component. This is called vertical component. Horizontal component we can say BH, which is equals to B sine of delta. If this is the angle delta, here delta is called angle of dip. This is horizontal, sorry, this is called cos component, and this is called BV is equals to B sine delta is the vertical component which is acting in a downward direction. As we know that when a rod is moving in a magnetic field, then an induced EMF is said to be developed on it. So here also the length of this rings is given as L. If it is moving in this magnetic field BV, that is B sine delta, then definitely a induced EMF is said to be developed across the wings, that we can calculate here. Therefore here from the formula we know that E is equals to BLV, general formula. Here B is nothing but vertical component, that is BV. Therefore BV means B sine of delta into LV. 4 into 10 power of minus 4 into sine of angle is given as 30 degree into length is given as 2 meter into velocity as given, that is 400 meter per second. Therefore on solving this we will get the answer, that is 1.6 volt. So this is the correct answer. Now question number 38. In the AC circuit shown, keeping K pressed, if an iron rod is inserted into the coil, the bulb in the circuit is. So he is telling that here one bulb is there and here one inductor is there. He is telling by keeping this on, if one rod is entered inside the coil, then how does it glow? Whether it glows brighter or less bright, or it may be less bright, or glow with same brightness, or get damaged. So the brightness of the bulb, that is depends upon the current in the circuit. Let us see how the current flow. If the current is more, then it will glow brighter. If the current is less in the circuit, then it will be less brighter. Let us see about the current. As we know that these two are in series, that means this is called bulb, which is having a resistance, say that is R. This is called inductor, which is having inductive reactance, which is nothing but it is like a resistance only, and it is represented with letter, we know this, that is XL, which is equals to omega L. So total resistance in this case is, we know that is Z is equals to root of R square plus XL square. That means root of R square plus XL means omega square L square. So Z is nothing but it is called impedance. Impedance is nothing but it is a resistance in this circuit. So therefore current in this circuit is given by I is equals to V by Z. V is nothing but here applied V, and Z is nothing but the effective resistance, we can say it as a Z, that is called impedance. Therefore if you substitute here, V by Z means root of R square plus omega square L square. Here if you insert the rod inside, then a induced EMF is said to be developed here. That means that induced EMF, which we call back EMF, which will oppose this rod. As rod is getting inside, L value will be increasing. If here L value will be increasing, that meaning is total resistance will be increasing. If L is increasing means this Z will be increasing. If Z is increasing means this I will be decreasing. When I is decreasing, we can say that it will glow lesser. Hence we can say that B option is correct. Now question number 38. The output of a step-down transformer is measured to be 48 volt when connected to a 12 watt bulb. The peak value of current is, okay, as we know that he has given V is given as 48 volt, and here power is given as 12 watt, and is asking I naught is how much, that is peak value of current he is asking. As we know that IRMS is equals to P by V. This way how we got means we know this formula. P is equals to VI. So from this RMS value, here RMS values are given. Therefore P means 12 watt. V means 48. Therefore we will get 1 by 4 value. So 1 by 4 I got as IRMS. Therefore we know that there is a relation between IRMS and I naught, that is IRMS is equals to I naught by root 2. Therefore I naught is equals to root 2 IRMS. From this root 2 IRMS means what? Just now we got 1 by 4. So this can be written as root 2 into, this can be written as 1 by 2 into 2. So 1 root 2 will get cancelled. So here one more root 2 is left. Therefore final is 1 by 2 root 2. So this much of ampere of current I naught. So third option is correct. Now question number 40. A coil of inductive reactance 1 by root 3 ohm and resistance 1 ohm is connected to 200 volt 50 hertz AC supply. The time lag between maximum voltage and the current is. So is telling that according to the problem is telling that a inductive reactance, that is this one, and a resistance, these two are connected in series to a voltage source. It is having inductive reactance, that is it is having a resistance XL is equals to, that is 1 by root 3, and here resistance of this resistor is given as 1 ohm is given, and the source is having voltage 200 volt comma 50 hertz frequency. This is given data. As we know that in case of resistor, current I as well as voltage both are in a same direction, that is phase angle between them is 0. Whereas in case of inductance, we know that voltage leads the current by pi by 2 angle, that is it will be in this direction. We know this very well. So from this, that means in this direction this is nothing but XL into I. Here V is nothing but we can also say R into I. So here the resultant of these two I can draw like this. We have seen this one. Let us say this is angle phi. Therefore from this triangle if I take tan phi, therefore tan phi is nothing but XLI by RI. I get cancelled, therefore XL by R. Here XL is given as 1 by root 3, R is given as 1, therefore 1 by root 3. Therefore here tan phi I got 1 by root 3. This implies that phi is nothing but 30 degree, which is equals to, in terms of radian we can say pi by 6 we got. So therefore here phi is equals to, I got how much? Pi by 6. And since we know that omega is equals to theta by time we can say, okay, from this theta is this angle, that is phi by t. Therefore we can say that phi is equals to omega into t, we can write here. So this can be written as omega into t, that is equals to pi by 6. Omega means what? We can write 2 pi f into t is equals to pi by 6. From this pi will get cancelled. Therefore t is equals to, these two will come here, that is 1 by 12 into t we are getting. 12 into f we are getting. Therefore, since here given that f is equals to 50 Hz is telling, as according to the problem he has given that 50 Hz frequency. So from this I can say that if I substitute here, then I will get 600. So that much of seconds. So this is the answer. Hence we can say B option is correct. Now question number 41. If E bar and B bar represents electric and magnetic field vectors of an electromagnetic wave, the direction of propagation of the wave is along. Now, according to the electromagnetic wave property, let us draw this. If this is, say this is z axis, say this is x axis, say this is y axis. If suppose a magnetic field is varying along y axis, this is the magnetic field, suppose say, and say along x axis, say an electric field is varying. This is electric field E bar in this direction, this is x axis, and this is up and down, this is y axis, that is magnetic field B bar is there. Then these two are perpendicular to each other, these two are perpendicular to each other, such that the propagation of a wave will be in the z direction. That is nothing but electromagnetic wave move with the velocity of light, that is c velocity. So here c is moving in this direction. Therefore these three we can have a relation according to a dot product. We know, according to a cross product we have, that is, if suppose this is unit vector is I cap, this we have unit vector, say that is j cap. We know that I cross j is equals to k cap. This is I cap, this is j cap, then definitely this will be k cap. So from this we can say that, I means what here? This is electric field along with this, that is E vector is there along this, along x axis. So that is E bar I can write, cross j means that is B vector, B bar is equals to, that is k cap. So along the k direction we can take C. So C option is correct. Now question number 42. According to Cartesian sign convention in ray optics, as we know that in a ray optics all the distances are measured from the optic center of a lens as well as our mirror, we can say. We know this very well. And as per the Cartesian sign convention, the distance are measured in the direction of an incident ray are taken as positive, and the distances are measured in the opposite to that of the direction of an incident ray are taken as negative. We know this very well. Hence we can say that all the distance which are measured in the direction of incident ray, this is taken as positive. So this is correct option. Now question number 43. A linear object of height 10 cm is kept in front of a concave mirror of radius of curvature 15 cm at a distance of 10 cm. The image formed is, this is a concave mirror. We know that this is a concave mirror. Let us say it is having a radius. This is R value is given as 15 centimeter at a distance of 10 centimeter. That means he has kept somewhere at a 10 centimeter. Let us say this is the object he has kept here. This is the center. This is the object he has kept. That is U is the distance of 10 centimeter he has kept. And is telling object is of height 10 centimeter. Height is also 10 centimeter. This is given. As we know that if this is R is equals to, we know that 2 times of F. R is nothing but radius of curvature, which is equal to 2 times of focal length. Our focal length is equals to R by 2. That is here R is 15 by 2. That is 7.5. That means 7.5 means from the optic center we can say here somewhere this is called focal length. Here somewhere one focal length will be there. Therefore, it is quite clear that the object is placed between the focal point and the center. That means after falling on it, again it will pass through the focus and it will fall somewhere that side. And one ray will fall here. It will also, after it will fall here somewhere. So, the final image will be enlarged as well as inverted. That means we can say magnified image is formed, that is bigger image is formed, as well as inverted image is formed. Hence we can say magnified and inverted image. Now question number 44. During scattering of a light, the amount of scattering is inversely proportional to dash of wavelength of a light. It is a direct question. We know that amount of scattering is proportional to 1 by lambda power 4. Fourth power of a lambda. We know this very well. So he is telling that dash of wavelength, that is we can say fourth power, that is this is. So C option is correct. Now question number 45. In a Young's double slit experiment, if yellow light is replaced by blue light, the interference fringes becomes. So as we know that fringe width formula, that is beta is equals to lambda d by t, lambda d by small d. So here it is quite clear that beta is proportional to the lambda. Means if lambda increases, beta also increases, that is fringe width increases. So as we know that lambda of yellow is greater than that of the lambda of blue. Why? Because it is telling yellow color is replaced by blue. So as we know that blue wavelength is less, then definitely beta for this also will be less only. This implies that beta of yellow should be greater than that of beta of blue. So definitely it will become narrow. So B option is correct. Now question number 46. According to Huygens principle, during refraction of a light from air to a denser medium, wavelength and speed decreases, wavelength and speed increases, wavelength increases but speed decreases, wavelength decreases but speed increases. So what happens? We have to show this. Let us say this is a interface of a medium. Here one medium 1, this is medium 2, such that medium 1 is less than medium 2. Suppose say a ray is coming like this, and after that it is coming towards this. So in this case, velocity of a light in this medium, that is, this is a denser medium, this is denser medium, this is rarer medium. So velocity of light in a denser medium is given by V, where the velocity of light in a rarer medium we will show it as a C. So velocity of light in a denser medium is equals to C by N, where N is nothing but it is called refractive index of this medium. This medium is having a refractive index, that is say N is equals to Ri, refractive index we can say. So it is from this it is quite clear that as the refractive index increases, velocity of the light in this medium will be decreases, because these two are inversely proportional are there. And one more formula is there, that is velocity of light is equals to f lambda. One more formula is there, where frequency, f is called frequency of a light. If it travel from one medium to another medium, the frequency of light will be always, it will be constant, it doesn't changes. That means v is proportional to lambda. So we are getting this. So as the medium increases, velocity decreases. As the velocity decreases, lambda also decreases, that is wavelength also decreases. So when a light travels from rarer to denser medium, that means thickness increases, velocity decreases, that means wavelength also decreases. Hence first option is correct. Now question number 47. In a system of two crossed polarizers, it is found that the intensity of a light from the second polarizer is half that of the first polarizer. The angle between their pass axis is. So as we know that from the Malus law, I intensity is equals to I naught cos square of phi, where phi is nothing but it is the angle between the two polarites. So here according to the problem, is telling I is equals to I naught by 2. So half is telling. So it will become I naught by 2, that is equals to I naught cos square of phi. I naught get cancelled. Cos square phi is equals to 1 by 2, or cos pi is equals to 1 by root 2. This implies that phi is equals to 45 degree. First option is correct. Now question number 48. From the following graph of a photocurrent against collector plate potential for two different intensities I1 and I2, one of the concludes. So as we know that photocurrent is directly proportional to intensity. That means if intensity of photons is allowed to fall on a photo plate is more, then we can say that photocurrent is more. The saturation current acquired by this intensity is greater than that of the saturation current acquired by the I1 intensity. Hence from the graph it is quite clear that I2 is greater than that of the I1. C option is correct. Now question 49. A particle is dropped from a height capital H. The de Broglie wavelength of the particle depends on the height as. So it's telling that a particle is dropped. That means initially its velocity will be 0. It is dropped. Say this height it has reached h, where its velocity is, let us say, v. Therefore we can apply a formula, that is v square minus u square is equal to 2gh, which we call equation of motion, we can say. So here u is 0, that means v square is equal to 2gh. Therefore v is equals to, we can say, 2gh root. So we are getting this one. Therefore, according to de Broglie wavelength, there is a formula is there for that de Broglie wavelength formula, that is lambda is equals to h by mv. H is called Planck's constant, m is called mass of the particle dropped, and v is nothing but velocity with which it is coming down. So here that v we have got this one. Therefore if I substitute here h by m into v means we can write this one, that is root of 2gh. So here H is constant, Planck's constant, M is constant, 2G, everything is constant. Therefore, I can say lambda is directly proportional to 1 by root of H. So if it goes up, we can say H power minus 1 by 2. So it depends upon like this. So hence we can say D option is correct. Question number 50. The scientist who is credited with the discovery of nucleus in an atom is, direct question, this is Rutherford. Now question number 51. The energy in eV required to excite an electron from n is equals to 2 to n is equals to 4 state in a hydrogen atom is. Is telling n is equals to 2 here, this is n is equals to 4. So from 2 to 4, this is n is equals to 1, n is equals to 3. Electron has to excite. So how much energy is required is telling. So it is very clear that the energy for this, let us say, that is E2, for this let us say that is E4. So if you calculate the difference between these two, E4 minus E2, then we can say that this is the energy. Since we know that a formula, nth energy formula, that is minus 13.6 by n square. This is the energy we know very well. So here if you substitute for fourth one, minus 13.6 by 4 square minus of minus 13.6 by 2 square, on calculating this we will get delta E, that is equals to 2.55. So that much of EV. So this is the answer. So I can say first option is correct. Now question number 52. In a nuclear reactor, the function of the moderator is to decrease. Here the moderator is used to decrease the speed of the neutron. That is question number 53. A particles emitted in a decay of uranium 23892 to uranium 23492. When uranium 23892 atomic number, if this undergoes alpha decay, alpha means what here? Helium, then it will give the product as uranium 23490. If this product is further beta decay, if it undergoes beta decay, then you will get uranium 23491. If this product further undergoes one more beta decay, then we will get once again uranium 23492. So therefore this value is this one and this value is given by this. So to convert from this to this, here one alpha and two beta decay have been take place. That is alpha comma 2 beta. So therefore first option is correct. 1 alpha 2 beta. Now question number 54. The mass defect of helium is 0.03 AMU. The binding energy per nucleon of a helium in MeV is. Generally the binding energy is equals to formula mass defect into 931. This formula in terms of MeV. This is a formula we have. Therefore here mass defect is given as for a helium into 931. After calculation we will get this one as a 27.93 MeV we will get. But he is asking that binding energy per nucleon, that is binding energy per nucleon. Here the number of nucleon is 4, so that is atom, that is mass number, that is I can say this. Therefore I can write 27.93 divided by 4 we can take. Therefore the final answer is 6.9825. So this is the answer. So the binding energy per nucleon of helium is given by B option is correct. Now question number 55. The energy gap in case of which of the following is less than 3 eV? We know that it is very clear that germanium is having less than 3 eV. Question number 56. Which of the following semiconducting devices is used as a voltage regulator? We know this very well that Zener diode in a reverse biased condition, it will work as a voltage regulator. Now question number 57. In the 3 parts of a transistor, emitter is of. We have to keep in mind that if this is emitter, if this is base, then this is called collector. The emitter size will be smaller than that of the collector, but it is greater than that of the base. But in case of doping, if you see, the doping of this emitter will be more when compared to others. Here it will be very less, but here also moderate doping. So we can say that here emitter is having moderate size and heavily doped, we can say. Hence we can say first option is correct. Now question number 58. The figure shown, if the diode forward voltage drop is 0.2 volt, the voltage difference between A and B is. So here is telling that A and B, what is the voltage difference between A and B is asking. As this it is clear that here the capacitor is of no use because it does not having any connection with any other resistors or anything, hence it is out of the circuit. So therefore the potential difference between these two is, we can say that potential drop across this we can get V is equals to Ri, which is equals to R means how much? 5 into 10 power of 3 into I value is 0.2 into milli, that is 10 power of minus 3. After solving this, I will get this as a 1 volt I will get. Similarly, the same current is passing here also. So at this point also the potential will be same like this only, that is 1 volt. And across this diode he has given it as a 0.2 volt. So across this it is given as 0.2 volt. Therefore the total voltage drop across AB is given as, here that is 1 plus here that is 0.2 plus here once again that is 1. Therefore 2.2 volt. So this much of voltage dropped across AB. Hence B option is correct. Which of the following logic gates is considered as universal gate? So here given OR gate, NOT gate, AND gate, NAND gate. As we know that NAND, OR, these two are called universal gate. So here this NAND gate is this one. So this is called universal gate. This question is now out of CET syllabus. The basic communication system consists of A, B, C, D, E. These are the given in order, and he asking the corresponding sequence of the arrangement is, so here option B is correct. This is out of syllabus.